Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. Another paid request, this time for Broad Stipe. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting any type of videos, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And this is for a film called D.E.B.S, 2004 film. Now, I don't think the movie ever says what D.E.B.S mean. I did look it up, and apparently it's discipline, energy, beauty, and strength. But I don't know if the movie ever. Maybe it did, and I just completely missed it. So if so, I apologize. But pretty much the setup is it's trying to be a parody on Charlie's Angels and those type of spy movies, because it's not taking itself that seriously. It's trying to be fairly silly, goofy. And I don't mean parody like Airplane, Hot Shots, but it's more comedic than action or seriousness. I'll put it that way. Now you have the trying to remember the director's name. The director's name, she had made a short film and maybe a comic based on this, and then she got the opportunity to make a full-length feature film on this. I don't think the film did well at the box office, but I guess it has a little bit of a cult following, and one of the reasons is because, as people called it, it's the gay spy movie. But at the same time, it doesn't do this. It's just that's just something that occurs within the gist of the story. Because apparently there's these secret tests in the SATs, and if you test a certain way, you get invited to be part of this spy regime called D.E.B.S, where you're a lady wearing a very short skirt, like a schoolgirl, and you do spy shit. So the lead is Sarah Foster, she got like the best scores. She's kind of the people. She's the one people looking at as she'll be a great agent someday. Jordana Brewster, who is in the Fast and Furious movies, she plays this villain who's a diamond thief, a smuggler. You also have people like Devon Aoki. She was the Asian lady in Sin City with the sword who didn't really have any dialogue in the Clive Owen section of Sin City. She's been in a few other movies too. Michael Clark Duncan, may he rest in peace. He's kind of the girl's handler. So set up, you have these four girls: Sarah Foster, Devon Aoki, and these two others. One is very close to Sarah Foster, friend wise, and you tell that girl she wants to. She's very adamant. She's the leader. She wants to stay being the leader. And then this other girl's kind of the more innocent, where she hasn't gotten her stripes yet, and she's very hopeful of an individual. So the four of them are hired to find this smuggler named Lucy, played by Jordana Brewster. And what I mean by I say parody, but it's, for example, they're supposed to be looking at Jordana's, her character's, what she's doing, but you kind of find out Jordana Brewster is having a blind date with this other lady who you find out is a hip woman and who's fucking crazy. And you see that Jordana Brewster's going, oh my god, I need to get the hell out of here. Meanwhile, you have these four ladies hanging from the ceiling on these little kind of, what do you have at the playground? And then the one girl, Sarah Foster's boyfriend, comes in and goes, how come you don't want to see me anymore? Give me the bracelet. And that ultimately falls, and then they get into a big old shootout where Jordana's like taking the table, blocking as they get the hell out of there. But as the movie goes on, Sarah Foster finds Jordana Brewster, and you get the idea they really have the hots for each other. Love at first sight. Wow, you're really cute. Wow, I didn't know that you were. Pretty much, she didn't say, but I didn't know you were a lesbian. So you really get the idea that the villain likes the lead girl, and actually coaches her to get into a date. And you're thinking maybe this is going to lead to the villain trying to fuck her over. No, it's just. It's funny, Jordana Brewster was like the most interesting character in the movie because she's a villain who's like a smuggler, a thief, but she's sincerely going on this blind date. And then when she sees Sarah Foster, which I don't blame her because Sarah Foster's pretty odd, she wants to get to know her more too. So then there's Sarah Foster going, no, this is not what I'm meant to do. I'm meant to be this great big spy agent. Even Jordan's asking, well, what does that thing test? Like you said, you did well in these SATs. What does it actually test? Like, what is it about those tests that made you, quote, supposedly the best person for the job? And don't worry about what other people want you to do. What do you want to do? And that's kind of the whole conversation throughout the film. As at first, Sarah Foster agrees so she can learn more about this person, but then ultimately they fall for each other. And again, it's hero and villain falling in love with each other. We've seen that in other movies, but it just so happens to be two ladies in this instance. So in a way that was refreshing because nowadays they would do that, but they would hammer it in about equal rights and protests and all this other stuff and how awful it is. In fact, when people find out, it's not, oh my god, you're gay. It's more, oh my god, you're going out with the villain. I think that was the right way to handle it on that front because it's like if you took the script, it would just be a guy and a girl, and you wouldn't really change much of anything. Like, it could have been a guy go on a date with this crazy hit woman, and oh my god, this is so ridiculous. Or vice versa. And it still would, the movie would play out fairly the same. And like I said, there's not really anything that goes into, oh my god, they're gay and this and that. It's more, wait, why this person? Like, why the villain? And then the villain, you find out, actually really does like our lead character, really wants to make things work. Let's relax. She was blamed for these deaths, but she's like, I didn't kill them. They were incidental. Like, they tried to chase me, they froze to death, they did all this other stuff. And then eventually she even tries to make it right where she's given money back and she has this buddy of hers that helps her and they stop doing bad stuff and they try to do the right thing. And it's one of those things that I didn't mind the film. I just what I'm getting at. I know I'm going all over the place. It's not the best review. I apologize, but it's an. I liked it because I thought Jordana Brewster. She didn't really have much to work with in the Fast and Furious movies. Here she has a little bit more to work with, and you realize, oh, she's actually a pretty good actress. Bit more personable, bit more humorous, bit more carefree. And I thought she was the most interesting character in the movie. And how she'd be like, God, what am I going to do here? Like, this is supposed to be the villain. But she doesn't really, to be honest, she's more likable, even though she's the villain, than Sarah Foster's buddies. Just like her friend who's a leader, she's always adamant about being a leader and being bitchy about it. Devin Aoki has this thing where she keeps having this French accent, which is peculiar. I guess that was supposed to be the funny bit is that, okay, she's Asian, but she keeps having this French accent. I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's why she didn't talk much in Sin City. which came out after this. Maybe they saw this film, they said, you know what, you would work, just don't say anything. And then the other one is just a pushover. So I'm like, yeah, Jordan Brewster's more interesting and more likable than your friend, so I don't blame Sarah Foster for wanting to hang out with this lady. And I thought kind of a weirdly ways kind of a sweet love story. I thought those two actually worked. Like there's a bit where because Jordana let her go because she has the hots for her and this and that, our lead gets promoted. Then there's a bit where, okay, we're going to go on this mission, and her friend's being a bitch about it. No, I'm the leader. It wasn't the lead girl's choice. Blame the other bitches for it. The head bitches. So there's this like booby trap, and the lead's like, you gotta stop it. Okay, okay, it's done, okay? Jesus. The booby trap's deactivated, okay? That wasn't funny. It was kind of funny. But hey, listen. If you want to go back to your place, go ahead. But you want to come join me and have some fun, and they do. Sadly, no sex scenes. Just not that kind of movie. And that's the thing, the detriment, though, is that, number one, it does feel like a cheap movie. Like, it does feel like a low-budget film. Because there's not a lot of big... Like, if you're going this expecting action, spectacle, far, far from it. It does seem like a low-budget direct-to-video movie. The locations, there's not really a lot of pizzazz in locations. There's not a lot of action. It's very, very, very few and far in between. And even then, the action at best is... I would say actually kind of lackluster. Because like I said, there's the bit where the four girls are hanging as well as the girl's ex-boyfriend, and they come down and they're shooting at her, or she's shooting back, and Jordana Brewster blots with a table. And then there's this warehouse with a bunch of boxes and stuff, and our two leads have a gun to each other, and when the lead girl turns back, Jordana's gone. And probably the only action is probably in the third act, which is just Jordana kind of maneuvering through the compound, sneaking to get to Sarah Foster's character. This endgame party where a lead girl does not accept the award, instead they go away together. There's just not a lot of production value in this movie. In fact, if you tweak a couple things, this could be a pilot of a TV show. In fact, if you had told me this was a pilot for a TV show, I could buy it. Because that's what the production values look like. They look like a TV show. And yeah, there's like this be a pilot for a potential show. So, because there's not a lot of action and there's not a lot of production value, effects-wise, the best idea is maybe once in a while you have a hologram that pops up of the upper echelon talking to the D.E.B.S. Michael Clark Duncan, sadly, doesn't have a whole lot to do. He's in it once in the blue moon. There's a bit where he says some nice words to Sarah Foster while everybody's shitting on her. He's kind of like the only one to give her some words of comfort. So, would have been nice to see Michael Clark Duncan used more. The other characters, again, Sarah Foster is fine. She looks fine. And she acted fine. Her friend was just pretty much bitchy. I'm the leader. I'm not the leader more. Bitchy, bitchy, bitchy. That's why I didn't really buy her change of heart at the end. Because at the endgame party, she says no. She runs off, meets with Jordana. The other D.E.B.S are there. And then her friend then changes his mind and goes, fine, go ahead. I'm like, you were just being so bitchy before. I don't buy your change of heart. It's like, well, it's the end of the movie. You gotta have your heart changed now. Sorry, we don't have any more time. We gotta head the fuck out. Okay. I didn't Devon Aoki, just the running joke of her French accent. There's really nothing to her. Again, the fourth girl just, she knows, she finds out earlier what's going on, but you gotta keep it secret, otherwise you're not gonna go higher up the ladder. And finally she gets her stripes, so to speak, her promotion. That's the thing. I mean, if when you look at the cover of the film, you're expecting more of a Charlie's Angels type of action entertainment. I would say what makes the film watchable is the two leads and their kind of sweet love story, which has the twist of they're both happen to be ladies. That part is okay to watch. The rest of it, it's kind of boring, kind of lackluster. Like I said, there's not a lot of excitement. There's barely any action. There's TV quality production values. So it depends how the little love story, how far that goes for you. I thought it was sweet enough, interesting enough, change of pace that it at least made the film watchable. I didn't hate the film, but I would never watch the film again either. So, and again, Jordana Brewster have a little bit more meat to the bone for a performance. It shows that they really have not given her much to do in Fast and Furious movies. Because you see this, you go, yeah, she's capable of doing a bit more, but it is what it is. So with that said, thanks for watching. Take care, and we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.